Well, hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, real estate investors. This is Scott Carson, the Note Guy out here, and I want to thank you again for attending another one of our amazing creative financing masterclasses. And we have the man, the myth, the legend here, who is kicking ass and taking names and helping real estate investors all across the country dive into his three-payday system of helping Americans out there and real estate investors just like you and me with a lot of experience or even no experience become real estate investors and take advantage of the free payday systems by really working with people that are struggling out there. We all have heard the numbers about people struggling to stay in their houses, to pay their credit card bills, the student loan debt, all this stuff at all-time highs when it comes to default. But there's no better person and no better team out there who's positioned themselves in the last 20 years to really help not only investors, but also help borrowers get out of troubling situations, get people who have gone through financial, health, family hurdles and need a way out and can't sell their house traditionally or have issues they just can't move it. And so we're honored to have the man, the myth, the legend, who was wicked smart out there. He is the head honcho, the chief bottle washer over at smartrealestatecoach.com, my good friend, Chris Prefontaine. Chris, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks, buddy. And the more you come hang out with us, your accent's getting better. I'm impressed.
You know, I'm trying wicked hard to get it down. You know, I'm gonna go have some lobster. You know, we're gonna go down and have a beer. You know, we're gonna listen to
Perfect.
all that good stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, and I love how as you and I always say, just for the listener, how the communities kind of marry in a good way, meaning deals on both ends can be had if both communities know about the other side of the coin, right? We were talking about deal before this, so it's important. So we will talk about the three paydays without using your cash or gobs of it, and without tapping into your credit or any banks at all. And I'm going to share a little bit, Scott, throughout sort of how this came about with my horror story coming out of the crash. But one of the sort of misperceptions in creative, I think is people think that they always say to me, like on a podcast, how come you guys don't keep your properties? You can keep your properties for 30 years if you want. I'm going to show you models that will, if you need cash flow, great, cash them out in 2 to 5 years. If you're good and you're set on your cash flow, great, then keep them 20, 30 years. That's a little bit more advanced, but you can do that. So that misperception in creative that, no, you gotta wind out. No, absolutely not. We'll talk about other assets too you can do. So let me just hit a few basics first. And of course, as always, Scott, chime in because we do good bantering. The sort of the old way of doing real estate is getting paid once, right? I did it like Scott's done it. Like I did hundreds of deals as a broker back in the 90s, and then I built homes, and then I did rehabs. Okay, but those all were do a deal, get paid. Good money, but do a deal, get paid, and get back on the treadmill. And also the old way was, I didn't know better. Just you got to deal with banks. You got to go sign personally and take a bank loan out. The new way is getting paid three ways. We did trade market. And I'll tell you how it came about, but eventually I said, wow, sort of the light bulb went off. And I said, we gotta get after this. First, let me just address all of you guys watching this. If you're looking for supplemental income, you like your business or job, or you're in the real estate biz and you're tacking this on, you just want to add some supplemental, great, super lucrative. I'll show you how lucrative with numbers. Replacement income. This is a big one. Scott, just this week, Judy, Judy, she's in your community also. Judy gave her notice last Friday. 18 years at one company. Today was a third day debt job free. She didn't know what to do. She's like, this is so great. And I won't say the income, but I said on our mastermind call today, I said, guys, understand, Judy wasn't making 20 grand a year. Judy was making really, really good multiple six-figure income. She left it finally with the three-payday system. So I love that. And I love Judy. If you want to
but she also represents a lot of folks out there who love their job, but they lack the freedom. They're handcuffed by their career, not able to do the things they want to do. Yes, they make good money, but they don't necessarily have she's a great person. Obviously, enjoys what she does, lives in Maine, but wants to do something more with her life while she still can. You know what I mean? And that's what's great about this.
Parents, same as my parents' age, like in their 80s, she's going, all right, well, there's a little bit more to this 6 day a week, call whenever you want me type thing, right? So absolutely. I agree. And then last but not least, look, if you just go through this, what Scott and I are going to talk about, and you go, all right, I got a new skill set here. I can develop this and own it for life, so to speak. Nobody can take that away from you. And you just go out and buy your own home creatively and not have to sign on a bank loan. Trust me, just the underwriting alone, you'd love to not have to do that. So that's a cool thing. If that's the goal, that's okay too. Real quick, I said I'd let you know how we got here. So I've been at this is my 34th year. That's pretty freaking scary when you think about it. I'm aging myself, but
You're looking good at 40, Chris. You're looking really good at 40. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
thank you. I started young. Um, I went through the crash, and let me just say to the people that like, if you're doing well like Judy and you want to exit your job, great. That wasn't me coming out of the crash. Okay, I was destitute. I had, just to give you a little bit of context, if this is you out there and you're struggling, I totally get where you are. I had tow trucks showing at my house. I had IRS calling. I had credit cards. I can stack that list pretty deep. It was ugly, and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment. And I remember walking home from the office, which was a block away because we had to sell all our cars. And it was after I did, it was August of 13 into December when I started getting after it again, getting out of my own head mentally. And I walked home with my wife. I said, I can't believe this, but the light bulb went off because the 3 paydays started clicking. I did my first 12 deals, Scott, and the spreadsheet I've been keeping just kind of nonchalantly, it got up to 1.2 million with like 11 or 12 deals. Well, that was an eye opener. And then we started trademarking it and got demand to help people and so on and so forth. So I've touched a lot of niches, and it ended here when I just got frustrated with the 1 payday, frustrated without having a coach. I was like floundering for 4 years, and that's how we got here. I will say now that it's morphed into, and Scott, you've met them all and you've hung out with us, the coaches and myself and Zach and my son Nick, 75 plus years now, climbing past that. This is about a year old. So we're able to look at you coming from, like I did, looking for, what do I do? Like, what's the niche I want to get after, and trying to bridge that gap. And that gap is the time from when you go to a seminar or take a course and you do a deal. And Scott, I think you agree. It's sad. Like people say to me, I took all these courses. Well, great. How many deals? Nothing. And so now they're pissed off and they think that every product stinks or every program stinks. No, you just didn't have the right program, right?
It's so true. It's probably about 5% of people that actually sign up actually take action. And that's part of it. A lot of people go from conference to conference to workshop, and they never apply it. And besides the note business, guys, if you're listening to this, this will be the last workshop you need to take in a lot of cases, because it does help you bridge the gap. It help you to how that there's deals out there everywhere. And what you're going to find today, this works in every market out there, not somebody pitching something from high end luxury rehabs that only works in one area or the laws. This actually, what Chris is going to go through, works in every city across the country, which is what not every niche does.
Yeah, and you bring up another good point in that, and that is, people ask, do I have to do in this market or that market, or where's the best? There's no, I know some niches you have to time it and go to certain areas like multis, but you can sit in your backyard when you see the profitability in these deals. You're not going to need to go out and do 40, 50 deals. They're super profitable. You do a handful to change your financial picture, I promise you. And the community is more about doing deals. I just want to bring this up, and I added this, Scott, because Jim brought up some really cool things. He was on Zoom at one of our virtual events, and these are his words, not mine. And you know, because you've hung out with the community, it's not just a deal. If it was just a deal, I can send you to our YouTube channel and you can watch 500 deal structures and go, got it, I know how to do this. It's the whole mental piece of the game. It's the whole support in the community, which is where we came in for Jim, because he travels like 7 days a week for work. It's insane. And I want to get you thinking now. I'll get out of that and go, okay, back to the numbers. Because Claudia was one that spent 100K. That's why I kind of preempted that with people spending money, 100K on programs, and then came to me and didn't do a deal, and then came to us, and her first year was a little under 400 grand. So I guess as a viewer or a listener, I'd say just put yourself in those shoes and go, what would it do, or even half if you don't need that kind of money, what would it do to your lifestyle? That's all. I just want to get you thinking. That's all it is. And people say to me, so I want to address this. All right, Chris, well, why are you coaching? Why don't you just do deals? Here's frankly what happened, guys. I told you how bad it was in 13. That was me getting in my way from 8 to 12, 2008 to 12, right? Oh, it must have been me, the market, I failed, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I got in my way, I started getting people go, hey, can you teach me how to do that? And organically it started going. And I thought, well, this is a cool way to kind of beat that thing that I saw out there, which was everybody's selling me stuff, but nobody's come behind it. And so we designed this, you're going to see, to do deals with people all over the country, not go, here's a product and good luck. And that's a bum road right there. So that's how we get into this and why we get into this. What is, let's dive into it. What is buying real estate on terms? It's creative financing. Scott said it a few times. It means no banks, no large down payments, and no signing personally. And those of you that have good credit, like I did prior to the crash, thinking, well, I can get loans. You can. And as soon as something changes at that bank, or the rates change, or the market changes, they can, and they sometimes will call your notes, right? You know that all too well, Scott. And I had 23 properties during the crash, and they would chase me for every single one of them. That was not a fun time. Now, I don't care how many properties I have. Going into COVID, we had 70. I was not on and will not ever be on one single solitary loan. And trust me, if you're watching this, you do not want to, if you don't have to, be on a loan personally signing on it. The three ways we buy then are how. If we're not doing that. Owner financing, we tend to go with free and clear properties. I'll show you how and why. Subject to existing loans in place and lease purchase. Those are the only three ways we buy. And those are three ways you could buy your own property as well. Now, I'll dive into each one, but let me first I inserted this, Scott, since we last talked, and that is, how do you find these people? Because everybody's asked me that question. Well, expired listings, just like a lot of people go after, but instead of a realtor or a wholesaler or a flipper trying to steal it, the defense wall comes down when you tell a seller, I'm just a buyer. I want to buy your property. And it didn't sell already. Well, that's an easy conversation. For sale by owners, for rent by owners, niche lists like free and clear properties in the United States, about a third of them. Why not seek those out? They're usually off market, so they don't care what's going on. I said recently, there's a guy that said to me, well, Chris, I went through all your program, all your material, and my market's hot. That won't work here. So, well, that's great if you're buying properties on the market, but I don't buy any properties on the market. They're all off market. Mailings, Scott, as you know, a lot of people teach like heavy mailings, like wholesalers. We don't. What I do is I teach like, hey, you might do a 200 or 300 piece, very niched mailing, like free and clear property, no mortgage, in my zip code with 3 bedrooms, very niched. And you can buy assets that way. Referrals are pretty cool right now in this market because the realtors are coming out of the woodwork, referring us. Wholesalers and flippers, same. Love it. In fact, Zach, my son-in-law and partner, who Scott knows well, gets all his deals from wholesalers because he doesn't have time to get on the phone. So they just send him deals. Pretty cool. And then mortgage lenders, of course, and local networks and RIAs. Now, I'm going to define some things, and then, Scott, you can add to it, and we can so we zoom out for people and then zoom back in. Owner financing is nothing more than I find a free and clear property in our niche anyway, most of the time. And I'm going to make monthly payments to that owner, to that seller. And that's usually going to be principal only. Okay. Key thing here, principal only. I don't care what the rates do, right? So stop paying attention to the market and media and just zone in on this. All that like underwriting stuff and all the hoops you got to go through with traditional financing, you avoid. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to show you a deal and some case studies. And again, I niched that down to free and clear. What is sub 2? Pretty popular now, actually, compared to, say, a decade ago. Mortgage, I buy the property. The mortgage stays in the seller's name. We've got a property in the market now. We bought in, I think it was like 17 from a couple that was fighting, divorce, ugly. One on the mortgage, one on the deed. We're just spinning out of that property right now. But that whole time, the mortgage was in their name, not mine. That's the beauty of these things. You make payments on their behalf, that's all. Now, kind of a disclosure. Who's more likely to sell this way? Someone needs financial relief. Who's more likely to sell if they're free and clear? They don't need financial relief. They want like tax planning, estate planning, payments over time, cash flow. That's what they want. So different avatars, that's all. But if you look at this, and I'm preaching to the choir here, Scott, with you on, so you might want to chime in here. But if 9 out of 10 homeowners have rates still below 6 and 4 out of 5 below 5, and a quarter of those below 3, you got some cool niche lists you could be working on to buy property for you and your family without signing personally, and at rates half the rate of what's going on out there, half the amount. Now,
yeah, and these people too, if they've gone through or experienced a financial difficulty, and they need to get out from underneath something like this. They're not going to go out and buy something immediately anyway because they can't afford to, or they've had late pays or anything like that. They're not going to be able to go buy something new for 2 to 3 years anyway. So they've got to get outside from this hurdle, and it allows for an opportunity for somebody to get creative and take over the payments, pay their existing stuff, actually boost their credit scores because you're paying the underlying mortgage, avoiding a foreclosure, avoiding further default. So it's really, truly a win-win when it comes to that, of helping somebody get out from underneath this burden, death, divorce, whatever it might have been, and making a win-win across the board.
Yeah, that's huge because people say to me, well, you take advantage when you're doing the sub 2. Nope, actually the complete opposite, as Scott said. The one I'm going to show you that I keep referring to, I think it's in this deck, this slide deck. They were 4,100 in arrears. Now, that's not a lot, but for them, it was on the edge of the slope, right? They were just about done. And so we fixed it. We've been paying all these years. Their credit's probably pristine right now, unless they screwed something else up. All right, what is lease purchase then? The third one, then we'll give you some case studies. Well, the mortgage stays in their name, but deed doesn't transfer. So all you're doing is you're controlling it. You're still making the payments on their behalf, and you cloud the title. how do you cloud the title? Well, it depends what state you're in. Your attorney will help you, but notice of options, what's in our material, memorandum, real estate memorandum, just so you can't sell it to Uncle Johnny during the process and get amnesia that you helped them and you got this thing under contract. That's all. So
Completely legal, everybody. We're not telling you to do something illegal at all. Create, and that's one of the things that we see a lot of. Actually, having a conversation with a realtor, the other new realtor, and we talk creative financing. Oh, you're talking about illegal. Like, there's nothing illegal. It's a little outside the box, but that's why you leverage attorneys and things like that to make sure everything's papered up properly in the state or the area that you're buying in.
yeah, huge point. And I'm not poo-pooing realtors. I was one for 18 of my 34 years, right? But it did not surprise me when you said a realtor told you that, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me. If they would add continuing education units that actually taught creative, then we'd all be in a better boat. But that's okay, more for us. And the attorney thing is a big comment, Scott, because I've had in particular states, New Jersey comes to mind. One of my students went to Israel and said, Chris, I didn't get an attorney. I said, no problem, I'll help you. I talked to 3 attorneys in Jersey. This is before we had all our attorneys set up. I talked to 3 in Jersey who said, you can't do it. Can't do a sub 2. Then I talked to a guy who does like tens of thousands. I mean, he said, of course they can. They got to close in like 6 days. It's insane to me, but so make sure you have the right team. So all we're doing when we're talking to sellers is what? We're just solving problems. You go to the auto body, you go to a lawyer, you go to the dentist. There's not a convincing. You go in to get a problem solved. That's all we're doing with the proper scripting and questions we ask. That's all we're doing forever. And let me just give you this takeaway, guys. And I added this recently too. If you can ask 3 questions, you can talk to a seller about this. It's no different than if Scott and I were neighbors and I saw a sign go up and I go, hey, Scott, I saw your sign. Where are you going? Oh, cool. When do you need to be there? Oh, neat. Excellent. So you're going to Arizona, job change. All right. So what if that doesn't happen? What's your plan B? Right? That's where we come in. That's it. It's very simple. Now in the free and clear, it's a little different. They actually want us right away because they're trying to do estate plan things. But there's your conversation right there in a nutshell. Not difficult. If you can ask those 3 questions, you can operate with what we do. Now, how do we exit before we show you case studies so you understand the numbers when I show you? We usually exit for the particular discussion today. I don't want to get too advanced. We usually exit on rent to own. And what is rent to own? If you guys, I just want to be basic here again, zoom back out. It's just a program to help true buyers. They're not renters. They're true buyers who need time to become mortgage ready, period. So they might have changed jobs. They may have big issue now, leaving corporate America like Judy did, starting their own business. If Judy goes in the bank next week to get a conventional loan, now I won't say how much, but Judy's got a lot of money in the bank and over the years, and used to make good money, but they'll go, nope, need 2 years of seasoning, right, Scott? Most of the bank.
That's exactly right, if not worse now. They want you to have a relationship often with the bank these days too. If they're going to be financing something. There's a lot of changes going on in credit and FICO right now that the lenders are going. We've got a good friend that goes to an annual event at FICO World where all the credit bureaus. He's the only consumer-facing industry, and he was talking about how it's getting tougher. Not only if you do have 2 years of work history, but to get something financed, whether it's a primary or even an investment property as well. So this is the great thing that kind of circumvents that.
This is why I think, I mean, I'm talking my 34 years, I really, really haven't seen such a cool, I'll call it a perfect storm, whatever you want to call it, but it's a really cool time right now for creative financing. And I think if you do it right, and because I don't know you, I don't know people go, oh, Chris said I could make $1 million. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you do it right in the next year, you could stack up without 3 paydays, a few $1 million, which would, for a lot of you, would take care of a decade or so of income and then go play, right? So be very aware of what's going on. You have a chance to catch that win, so to speak. And if you talk to any mortgage broker, this guy was in our community who gave me this stat, Raphael, he's in Miami. He does like a lot. He does like 100 loans a month. And he said, Chris, out of 100 people, 17 or 18 are qualified. That's it. Now, they don't all need 3 years, and they're not all good tenant buyers. I'm just saying there's a big pool to fish in when you're talking about 82% of the buyers can go to rent-to-own route. Now, how do we profit? If we buy the way we said those 3 ways and we sell rent to own, and by the way, as Scott knows, we look to cash out our rent to owns, guys. There's a lot of educators that have about a 10 or 20% success rate. Our failure rate is like 2 to 10. It's super strong because sometimes you just have life events. You can't help. I don't care how good you are with your systems. Here are the 3 paydays and how they work. Payday 1, remember, true buyer, like a Judy coming out of corporate America, has money, ready to buy a house. Oh, I can't. Perfect rent to own buyer. Payday 2, you're paying something to the seller or their underlying debt, and you're collecting something higher from the tenant buyer while they're getting through their process of getting mortgage ready to eventually cash it out. There's a delta there. You keep it. Payday 2. Payday 3 is really cool, lucrative. Throughout the term, you have principal pay down, especially if it's all principal in the case of owner financing, and you have a markup. So payday 3 tends to be pretty hefty. So let me show you our paydays. This is just our family team. The community ranges like 45 grand to 350 grand, all like East Coast to West Coast. Ours look like this: payday 1, payday 2, payday 3 for our family team. I think it's like 78 now. This is conservative. That's per deal, guys. So you start a deal, hypothetically, you get a check for 26 grand. Okay, great. Now you just launched an ongoing stream of 308 a month for every property, and then you know on your spreadsheet, okay, if you're analytical, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the years are, you have that bulk coming in. Well, that's pretty cool. You start charting about a bunch of those. That's what I referred to when I said I walked home from the apartment. I started to realize the potential here. This is a little different. This shows you the quality of what happens here with the 3 paydays. This was a 12-month snapshot of our business a few years ago. We said, okay, let's take the last 12 months and let's see what was newly created. Forget before that and forget what's going on now. Just new deals, like 21, I think, in here, 22. Newly created payday 1s. Payday 2s is, I think, the important one. Scott, you probably know what it would take. If I was to expect $6,500 a month passively, I would need, I don't know what it is in the bank right now. Today's rates, $1 million, $2 million. It's a big number.
Well, yeah, you'd need $1 million if they got 6% to get that coming. Well, that's actually coming in. That's 64.59. That's annual, or that's monthly?
Monthly.
So you would need 70. So basically, it's about $73,000 a year. So yeah, you'd have to have about $1 million, 1.1 to get in $6,000 a month on cash flow for you.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. And again, disclosure, I don't know you, but I'm saying generally speaking, okay, everybody's gonna have different results. But can you save $1 to $1.2 million in the bank in the next 12 months? I probably can't, but I can tell you this, we can teach you how to do it. Now, will you get it in the first 12 months, 21 deals? I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can create this over time in a 12-month period. Some of you go off and do 20 in the first year. Some of you do none. Some of you do 2. But my point was to create newly created income of 1.6 over the course of the next 2 to 10 years in the next 12 months. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool potential. Even if it took you 5 or 10 years, right? Scott,
exactly. As the saying goes, Jesus saves, everybody else has missed.
I haven't heard that one. Definitely not from you. I want to tell you just the 3 paydays work. Scott said it earlier in any market. So I'm just showing you. Mike's one of our coaches now, but he came from a produce business working ridiculous 6 days a week. And then when he had a baby, he's like, I can't do this anymore. Kind of like Judy said, I can't do this anymore. And Mike's out in Northern California. Rick's right here in New Hampshire. Rick kicks butt. Scott, you know Rick, he's also a coach now. Rick did 30 years in the government, tried flipping, wholesaling. He's just like, kept being a job. I didn't have time. He had 180 employees. Well, he left after a 24-month plan we put together with him very specifically, because it's what we do now. We help people exit. And Rick, this is old. Rick's up to, yesterday he had a payday 3. I think it was like his 11th deal. He surpassed $1 million. That's pretty cool. You know, he calls me and says, I got a payday 3 closing this morning, and then I'm going to a closing this afternoon on one of his purchases. This guy's life's different than it was 2 years ago. So just so you know, different markets work.
You see a rejuvenation, I would say, from people that understand they go from a job, not that they hate their job, but it's the doldrums of going in Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, working at kind of that, running in that hamster wheel and all that stuff. But they get out and they start doing amazing things, and it really it's like spring all over for them again. They get their lives back.
Yeah, and it's neat. Rick comes in we run out to private boot camps here, and he comes in, and it's so cool to hang out with him for 2.25 days, and the students he's a different person. Yeah. Okay, disclosure on these numbers we're going to share with you here. So these are case studies on the paydays. And I'm not showing them so you go, got it, I get this figured out. It's not it. I want to expose you to what it looks like on real deals. And then I'll point you to free resources and some resources you can get more aggressive with. That's up to you, but just to expose you to what goes on here. This was an expired listing. We purchased it for $399. I remember this guy stood in his kitchen. Actually, Zach found it, and then I talked to them. He unfortunately lost one of his twin boys, and he had a daughter. One of his kids passed away here while they were on vacation. So he's like, I'm done. It's fall coming up. I want to get out of here. He lived in the Midwest. So we did owner financing. It was free and clear. We struck a term of 48 months, and we went out and sold this on a rental at $429. Now, here's how the structure was. Payday 1. This guy was a teacher. He wasn't financeable yet. He came in with 80 grand. It was 40 at the table when he signed to take occupancy, and then 40 over time. We sometimes will do like, okay, I have tax refunds coming in. I have raises coming out. They'll schedule these out. We have a system to help them do that. That gets them more vested in the house, and that improves your cash flow. Payday 2, we were paying the seller $1,000 a month, principal only. This is powerful when you see the cash out here. And we were collecting $1,700 a month. The only thing that would have come off that, just to show you, is our insurance. Everything else the buyer pays for. But still, nice Payday 2. Payday 3 works like this. Picture it. Just like if you were going to go buy a house next month, this gentleman moved into this house with his family, put a date out. I think it was, what did we do here? 48 months. Okay, we scanned it. We screened him. He's going to be ready in 48 months or before. So when he comes to the closing table now, we look at the markup on the house, and then we say, okay, we had 48 months of principal pay down. That's the power of that principal pay down. And then he's closing. We got to give him credit for his 80 grand he put down, just like you would buying anything. Payday 3 was actually a little negative because we get so much up front. It's like, thank you very much, 4 years ahead of time. Thanks for the profit. And then we wait for the cash out. But this one had a garage right about where this view of this picture was. And we collected some rental income until such time he got qualified. Then he took it over. He was glad to. He knew that the whole time he was there. And we broke 6 figures in that. I'll give you a quick formula. When you can find in your geographic area, and you can, and anywhere in the country right now, you can find a house that's you're going to buy for 200 grand or more. You're going to structure monthly payments to the seller for $900 or more. Let's say 1,000 to be safe, principal only. And you're going to do that for 4 years or more. You have 6 figures with the 3 paydays every time. Now, can you find 5 of those a month? Probably not. But can you go out and find 5 of those next year? Yeah, absolutely. You can find 5 of those next year. That'll change the world. That's what Rick did. Most of his were a lot of principal pay down. That's how he got to this so fast. This next one, if you want to give you a little of each, lease purchase. Now, here's the funny thing here. This was referred by a realtor who to this day still sends us properties. Instead of learning how to do this, his choice, he sends them when he can't sell them. Now, if you're a realtor, anything doesn't fit in your box. You didn't sell it. I was a realtor. You can't sell everything. Or they don't want to pay you. Or they don't have enough money to pay you. Anything that doesn't fit in your box. It's not, we're competing. We're going to help you capture profit you're leaving on the table. We tied it up for 283, exact mortgage balance, 283,784. Lease purchase. So we did a shorter term, 36 months or before. Turn around, sold to rent own for 329.9. Now, again, the numbers behave the same way, guys. So I'm going to click a little bit quicker here. The only difference is you'll see less principal pay down because we're paying on the existing loan, not principal only to the seller. That's the biggie. Payday 1 was 24 grand. In this case, it was all up front. It's not always. Payday 2, PITI was 1818. The spread there was nice, $500 something above our average. This was our house too, not a student's. So we get the markup, we get the principal pay down, not so great because it's not all principal. And then we gave credit for the deposit, and our Payday 3 was almost 40 grand for a total of 81. Now pictures, the realtor was going to get, let's say 300 grand times 5%. If he double sided, he was going to get 15 grand. It expired. He could have said, hey, good news, guys. I have another option for you. He would have been a hero to his seller.
Yeah.
So one more case study. This is the one where I said they were in arrears and they weren't they were fighting divorce. It was ugly. We're about to sell this for a lot larger payday than I'm going to feature right here because we did some extending on the term. So this is very, very conservative. I'm going to show you. We purchased it for the exact mortgage balance. Plus, they watched a little bit too much HGTV and they had maxed out some credit cards to fix this thing up. So Zach, the only way he could get this done, he negotiated this, was to agree to pay 12 grand in credit cards over the next 2 years. We paid it, whatever that comes to for quarterly. Pretty cool. Payday 1 was actually an attorney who went to law school and trashed her credit. So she came into the table with 41 grand, had the money, just trashed her credit. Monthly payment to the seller, PITI, goes right to the bank. We don't send it to the seller, just a note. We were paying her $22.97. What happened here, just real briefly, we don't have time tonight, but this got extended a few times because the rent went up monthly because she couldn't cash it out in time for 29 months, which she agreed to. So we upped the rent and we kept extending it, and we actually got more value out of the price because she agreed. She didn't want to lose it. It went up so high. We didn't go as high as the market, but we went up fair and she got a fair shake. So if we stayed at this price, let me show you the numbers. We're going to take the rails off. We still almost broke 100 projected. Our Payday 3 is about to come out about 40 grand higher than that, Scott. We're literally closing on us. So this was a cool deal. So all to say, I featured today a mastermind call to tell the students, the community members, look, curveballs come up, but this girl sadly couldn't get there in time. So we did some bopping, and we even gave her, left a lot of cash flow on the table for her, value rather, but we bumped it up a little bit. And she said, okay, thank you for not kicking me out, right? So there's always a way to win-win and do the right thing integrity-wise. All right, Scott hit this already. I don't care what price. I don't care what market condition. I don't care what house condition is as long as it's habitable. and I don't care what area this works. Can you do this in multifamily and commercial? Yep. I bought my own building that way, since sold it. Did a niche mailing to 4 to 10 unit buildings because nobody goes after those. They go after the bigger ones. I did it free and clear, bought 2 and free and clear multis with that one 276 piece mailing. Both of those were 6 figures in under 3 years. Multis, not rent owned. So that you can do this in any asset class. It's been around way before Scott and I with creative finance.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, you only do singles. No, you can do anything. I just teach singles to start because it's an easy pathway. And if I teach everything, all the students have that shiny object syndrome. I can go buy all this stuff, right? Gets a little crazy. Now, I know because I'm from New England, I talk just a touch fast. So I know you felt like you got to drink with a fire. Well, Scott's used to me now, but I know I go fast. That's just New England. You'll get used to it. Here's a solution for you guys. I'm gonna give you free resources, as I always do, because you're in Scott's tribe. And I'm also going to point some of you that are more serious to some resources, and we'll get after it together. It's called the three paydays apprentice program. This was our, and I can't even take credit for it. My son-in-law Zach came up with this. It was our streamlined effort to go, okay, we have a great course. We have great support. You can talk to us 5 days a week with our calls, free. But how about we get you in here? We let you see upfront in person. And how about we do deals with you? And how about we really get in the trenches with you? Here's what this looks like. You're going to first get the course that Scott and I have always talked about, the QLS home study course. If you go down our website, it's $1,500 by itself. You're not even going to pay near that. And I think there's a quick video in here in a second, just to show you what it looks like online. But I'll tell you, Mod 11 is all of our contracts and our checklist that literally we do deals with every day. So if we make a mistake, or if we had a boo-boo in a contract, or a seller said, well, you guys forgot this, so therefore I'm going to come after you. Anything that happens, we fix it. And it goes into the course for you. So this is a living, breathing thing. This is not, we made this pre-COVID and it still exists. We've tweaked this 4 times now, Scott. We're on 4.0 since 2016. It's painful, to update stuff like this.
But that's the thing that's what's great about you guys. You're constantly living, breathing, you're in the business. You didn't flip one property 10 years ago and still trying to teach the same way that you did 10 years ago.
Funny, but you know what's going on. It's absolutely crazy. Let me show you what this looks like online, guys. And again, you own it for life. We use it. It's like a resource center. It's not just a course. Take a quick peek. Sound good?
I'm not getting any sound, but it's okay without the sound because it's literally showing up.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Chris Prefontaine, and I want to thank you for your interest in the quantum leap system, or QLS, as you'll hear us refer to many times.
A lot of modules in there, ladies and gentlemen, breaking down the contracts, breaking down the negotiations, the scripts, the fact that you guys also do a ton of weekly calls for folks to come in, talk about the scripting, talk about the deal flow, listening to people's phone calls when they're talking with people as well, as something that's unheard of really in the industry these days, Chris.
Yeah, that was mostly family you saw, right? I mean, Scott's hung out with us. We care about you doing deals. We care, and we do the right thing with you. So you'll be hanging out with us. You can come to our live event. Scott always hangs out with us and goes over some of his material while he's there. You don't have to buy a ticket. It's part of the apprentice program. That's the one in Boston. Actually, I can see you in the audience, Scott.
There he is. Yeah, my big head in the back there. Yeah, for sure.
So Scott will be there. He'll have some time with us, and it will be great hanging out with the two communities. You get access to Slack. This is where 140 or so Wicked Smart community members hang out. You got lessons learned. You got Q&A channels. You have script channels to listen to live calls. Invaluable. Like on the spot. It happened today. Listen to it. You also get the boot camp. Now I said, come hang out with us. You're going to sit in this boot camp right here in the conference room. We could fit around 10 or 12 max, because me, Zach, and Nick, my son and son-in-law, and one coach, usually Rick, we're there too. It's 4 of us to 10 of you. We're going to do live calls. We're going to talk to your sellers. You bring leads. If you don't bring leads, you're going to get a lot out of watching, but bring leads, you'll leave with deals. We're going to make appointments. We're going to structure deals on the whiteboard. You're going to make offers, and you're going to get properties under contract when you go home. If not, while you're at the boot camp. It's 2.25 days. It's completely free with the apprentice program. It is by far the best thing we've ever done. Started March of 24, and we used to sell tickets to it. Now you come for free. There's nobody in the room that pays if they're in our system. That is by far the most effective thing we've done as a group.
That's the hand holding that is awesome. You know,
Well, people, here's what they say, which I was a little surprised, pleasantly surprised. They get done day one, Scott. We do calls all day. Like you'll be in this office where you see me doing calls with me, and someone will be in the conference room with Zach and Rick, and they go, "Oh, okay, so it's not that difficult." And oh, you guys kind of do what you teach. Yeah, that's what I've been telling you for 12 years. So that's all. That's all we do. Then to your point, Scott, here's how they can touch base with us. Literally Monday through Thursday if you want. Now, everybody can't do that schedule-wise, but it's available for you. And if you miss it, you'll have a recording of it. So that's support. That's like nobody out there, very few people are doing in the community right now. So that's sort of the 10,000 foot view on the apprentice program. You also will come out of that with the Creative Financing Real Estate Association certification. Now, this is cool. You get on the phone with someone and Scott's the sell, and Scott says, yeah, you know, I got a call, a bunch of wholesalers called me and flippers. I don't want to give my property away. Hey, no problem. Were they certified by the Creative Financing Real Estate Association? And unless they're gone through this program, they're not, because that's how you get certified. And you are about, I would say, I talk to a lot of RIAs. And Scott, you know who goes to a lot of RIAs. If we could just get that into more hands, because you know more than about 90% of the people in that room if you go through this.
that's so true.
If not more. I started by saying, what if you got that check when I showed Claudia? Mike's a coach, but this was Mike's first deal. So again, I just want to open your eyes to say, what if you could get your fingers on this for your first deal? And Mike's been with me since 2017.
Wow.
After leaving his job in 19, and then he became a coach, and you can work with him personally. He works with the higher level people. He's awesome. I know this is outdated because his kid's 7 right now, 7 or 8. All right, so that could be you guys. Here's how it breaks down. You can scan the image there, or you can go right to the link for Scott's Tribe. This is how I stacked it up with everything I gave you. It's about almost 14 grand worth of stuff. It's $1 grand today, guys. And when you go to the link, you'll have a chance that you can split that up even, I think. And if you go, no, I just want to get the gifts, there'll be gifts there for you as well. But know that there's a 100% guarantee. We operate, one of our values in the company is to operate the highest integrity. If you're not serious and committed and you get in here and go, yeah, it's not for me, no problem. No questions asked other than, hey, how can we improve it? That's the only question you'll get asked. If you decide not to do it, we'll give you a refund, okay? I truly think, Scott, you and I have done a lot of coaching. Yep. I opened my story with how I didn't for 4 years. I was just in my head mentally, all messed up, broke, in a 1-bedroom apartment. And not until I get back in and go, okay, I need a coach, did I really make a difference? And so I invite everyone to think about return on investment and return on time versus, oh, there's a cost. It's not a cost. It's how much can I multiply that? Rick's in one of our higher level coaching programs and he's 10 times his investment. So that's saying a lot right now. But if it's not for you, I want to still gift you some things on that same page. You'll get our free books. I'll probably toss some other goodies in there for you. We don't want you walking around without a Wicked Smart shirt, for example, maybe perhaps. You'll get some free gifts there. I said at the beginning, but I want to hammer this home. If all you did was do this for a deal for you and your family, you just spent the best $1,000 on the planet because you own the course for life. We won't take that away, even though you wanted a refund, everything else, you keep it and you have the skill set for life. Scott, that is a wrap, my friend.
Before you finish, can you go back and let's talk about all that stuff that's in it? We can slow it down a little, folks, because you hit them with 2 fire hydrants. You know what I'm talking about? So they're going to get. Oh, there you go. They're going to get the class with the different modules that there's lifetime in their computer to walk them through the basics. They're going to get the access to the contracts that go along with it too. Correct, Chris?
Yeah, contracts are in one mod. I know attorneys that sell what's in that mod for $4 or $5 grand.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're going to get the 12-week coaching program. That's just under $4,000. 12 weeks coaching program, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3 months for you. 3 months, 90 days, getting it in there. You're going to get the ticket to the QLS event, the 2-day event in Boston. I'll be there. I'm excited to be there. It's a great spot there. You have to get almost scanned in to go on there. Food. It's just a great event. And you'll have the room holds 100, 120 people, roughly, give or take a little bit.
That's the only bummer. You saw it. It's true urgency. You saw it. We can't fit more than that in it.
Yep, exactly. You'll get the ticket in the trenches boot camp that's coming in and spending that time with you for the 10 people in the room. Is that right? That's what that is?
Yeah, 10 students only, and then 4 of us.
Exactly. The weekly mastermind calls, the weekly open office hours on the Monday through Thursdays, and then of course the Slack channel access to the Wicked Smart community with the other students that are going through deals. So you can get questions answered there. You can present your deals. And here's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Chris didn't talk about this. The deal flow as far as leads, he makes it really, really easy. You've got a vendor that handles his leads. So I'll give you a great example. I come out to Newport, about 2 years ago. You share one of your lead sources. I go online. I sign up for it. I download a list. I do a text message and email blast out to them at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I get 4 people that call me back while I'm there over the 2 days, and then more traditional. This stuff works, ladies and gentlemen. And for $9.97 and the the 30-day money back, no question, that guarantee, you have the opportunity in 30 days not only to get signed up and learn something, but to have it life-changing experience, life-changing coaching, and most important, life-changing money to help you go from where you're at to where you want to be to help your dreams come true. If you dislike your job, a way for you to take those handcuffs off. If you love your job, great, but it gives you an opportunity to make life-changing income on the side. And you've got plenty of folks that are working part-time at this, but also full-time. And so it's exactly what you want. And you got all the support, second to none in the industry out there to make it happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the part-time thing, let's address that, Scott, real quickly. I didn't do a good job of that. The 99% of the people that come to us, of course, are part-time. Everyone is busy. Rick's an extreme example, but everybody who left their job, and not coincidentally, all our coaches have left their job, right? So they all had brutal jobs, but what we do specialize in, which I did mention, is helping you exit that W-2, whatever time frame. Usually it's been anywhere from 9 to 24 months, more so on the higher end. One person did it that quick, but the rest were closer to 2 years.
Well, but that's the thing. You have a plan, and you help put a plan in place, and you work it as hard as you want to accomplish that goal. And this is, like I said, guys, we do a lot of stuff that works very well with our note business. It works with the creative financing side. We can't buy the note. We work to do the creative financing side. And there's no better team out there, no better team doing this not legitimately, who's not going to sit here and blow smoke up your butt. They're going to show you how to hit it hard, and then you're going to hit it wicked hard and make some wicked hard cash at thesmartrealestatecoach.com, guys.
Love it. Can't beat that.
So guys, get signed up today. Like I said, smartrealestatecoach.com/NCS stands for the Note Closer Show. That's our podcast. Makes it a little bit easier than WeCloseNotes.com down there. So smartrealestatecoach.com/NCS. We'll put the link in the description of the video or the podcast as well for you. But for $9.97 today, get signed up. Go to that to claim those free gifts as well. The 3 books, t-shirts, some other stuff. You'll see it down at the bottom of the sign-up page. Get signed up today. This is one no-brainer. And you guys know if I'm talking about this, it's something that I believe in, something that I love doing and being a part of, and it works so well in the note industry with our note tribe out there. And if you're brand new to real estate, this is one of the great ways to get rock and rolling and be able to monetize what's going on in the market these days. So many homes being listed, the sellers needing a way to get stuff moved with creative financing because of where rates are at and what's going on in the market. There's never been a better time to become a creative real estate investor. And this is the package, this is the plan, and this is the solutions that you can not only provide for those distressed borrowers, distressed property owners out there, but also for you and your family as well. And I think that'll wrap it up, huh, Chris?
Awesome.
Anything?
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Get signed up. Use that code. Use the link. Get signed up today, guys. You will not be disappointed. So go out there, take some action, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye. Hey, real estate investors. So you want to dive into the world of note investing, but don't currently have the funds to sign up for an expensive class or a workshop or one-on-one coaching. Well, then you definitely want to check out the biggest bang for your buck in the note world, and that's our WCN membership. It get you an all-you-can-learn access to our class workshop replays, tapes, weekly coaching calls. For $97 a month, it's the biggest bang in the note industry because you get access weekly with me. You can book one-on-one phone calls with me. As we get different tapes in, we'll share them with our members after our one-on-one coaching students get access to us. We share a variety of tools, like I said, replays to the previous workshop, special discount codes to other events that you can take advantage of to help you get more bang out of your dollar every month. We've been investing in notes for over 20 years, and one of my biggest passions is helping note investors, big and small, get started buying notes. Yes, I got started years ago with no money, no savings, and no list. And I love helping people close on their first deal, get their first private funding partner to help them fund more deals and help them both make above average returns. If you're looking for somebody to help you take your note investing from 0 to 60 and want to get started, my WCN membership is a great place to get started. Like I said, we upload lists to it, video training, coaching calls for $97 a month. What can go wrong? The only thing we ask is you hang around for 6 months, and then if you don't like it, you can cancel. But check it out at noteumbrella.com. That's noteumbrella.com. That's our WCN membership. Get looking at assets today. Start putting your fingers on the trigger to pull the trigger on some note deals here before too long. Yes, anybody can buy notes. I don't care your age, your savings, what race, color, whatever it is. Note investing is all about what action you take, and the first action you should take is signing up for our monthly membership at $97 a month. That's noteumbrella.com. You can also access it by going to weclosenotes.com and checking on the monthly membership. But we are here to help you. Scott Carson, the Note Guy. We look forward to seeing you at the top.